Hello, and welcome to the very first inaugural, am I saying that correctly?
You're saying it correctly.
Perfect. To Be Frank podcast. I am your host, Frank A. This is my guest for today.
Yeah.
Jorge. No, it is Josh Harris.
I preferred Jorge McCumberbun.
That too.
Yes, Joshua Harris. That's correct.
I call him Josh because he's my brother, but he goes by Joshua formerly. This guy is super talented. I'm not going to talk about it. But I'm telling you.
Thank you.
He is at least in my top 50 of musicians that I can stand to listen to.
Wow.
I mean, there's just so many. And there's so many things I could say about you, but I'm just not going to because that would take up no time at all.
At least the next 30 seconds, probably.
Right, maybe. I mean, possibly. It's true. But, again, this is the very first podcast, and I am so glad that wherever you are, whoever you are listening to this, okay? This has been an brainstorming idea for quite a long time.
Yeah, he's mentioned to me for months now about it.
So this thing is finally happening. I'm so excited. And Josh was just talking about how nervous he was. I am nervous, and he's just the guest. But he's also the producer, so
true.
there's a little bit of that too.
I am the producer-ish, and like Frank was like, your living is to perform in front of people. I was like, yeah, but usually a camera's not involved, and usually you're not there, and you make me nervous. So
that's true. I'm kind of an attention grabber, and I suck up all the attention.
That's true.
I'm an attention vacuum.
I was going to say that thing.
Hey, up top. All right. So now, awesome. I just want to tell you guys, wherever you are, that the idea behind this podcast is just an open conversation. Yes, we have some things that are structured and some things that we're going to try out and test, but this is mainly just to discuss things, talk about stuff. I'm going to have different guests. There might be some where it's just me, but more than likely, I'll have different guests. I've got a couple things planned.
Don't worry. It's not all going to be me. Trust me, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, we'd have to get several cameras. They'll all break. But I want to let you know that the main idea behind this is we're just going to talk about life. That's the way I could. A couple people that I talked to about this asked me, well, what kind of genre are you going to fit into? What kind of podcast are you going to do? I said, the basic thing that I can try and put my hands around is just a life podcast.
Okay.
Everything is encompassed in life. Without life, there is nothing.
Well, good point. Yeah.
So therefore, it's just a conglomeration of topics.
This is the noun of podcasts: person, place, things, or ideas.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
That's it. This is the noun podcast.
That's right.
Welcome to the noun podcast. No, but I just want to say thank you. There's many more things to come, and we're excited. But this is the first one, and that's very important and very exciting. So
yeah, I mean, the first time you ever jump into something, it's always nerve-wracking, but it's exciting at the same time because you have no reference, that you're not in that paradigm. You don't know what the outcome could be.
Right,
you
don't know what to
expect.
expect.
Could be. I mean, maybe 2 people could watch this. Maybe
that's true. It could be me. I could watch this over and over and over again to get my likes up and views up. But it's okay.
And he might make me do the same thing.
It's very true.
That'll be so cool.
So if you're receiving this, more than likely, I know you, and I need you to send this to other people. But it's whatever. But
spread the word.
In all actuality, we can say whatever we want because no one's listening.
That's
right
true.
Now.
I mean,
so
it's just you and I having a conversation. I mean,
right. This could air in a couple days, a year. It really just depends on how fast this guy edits. Because
I'm real fast.
Cannot do that right now. It's been a very long time.
It's okay. We'll teach him.
Hey.
I'm on my hitting the table. I shouldn't do that. Yep.
So real quick, I do want to mention these 2 things here, and I'm sure more things will be added, trust me. But right now, I just want to mention these. These are named after my 2 boys, Luke and Logan. Those of you that are nerds, as we are. I mean, look at the shirt.
I'm telling you, Ron Swanson for days.
So I got to keep these guys with me at all times and all costs because without them, I would not be a father. So, well, not the toys because that's weird. I just want to preface that.
You hear that, Sarah? Those are his kids right there.
Yeah, Sarah's my wife.
Awesome.
So let's get started.
Let's do it.
I asked Josh in the process of pre-planning for this to come up with a top 10 That's one of the segments I want to try and keep going, is a daily top 10. So today's daily top 10, the very first daily top 10,
Yeah.
is top 10 songs.
And that's so tough.
I know. We are both musicians.
Yeah.
He is a multi-instrumentalist. He's teaching me another instrument right now. I'm primarily a percussionist. Excuse me. But he's teaching me the bass.
Yeah.
Kind of go hand in hand.
They do. They're both rhythm instruments. They're the backbone.
He plays pretty much everything else except the electric triangle.
Well, the electric triangle I am working on, but the glockenspiel is yet to come.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
That's right.
But we did our daily top 10, and I will allow my guest to go first.
Okay. So he came to me about this. He's like, so I want you to think about your top 10 songs. And I was like, bro, that's basically impossible for me to narrow something down like that, because
It's not that hard.
Well, I mean, it's tough. It's tough for me.
There's only like a bajillion trillion songs.
You know,
They come out with like 9 million a day. It's fine.
they've only been making music since like forever.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, I was trying to think about it pretty hard. I'm a pretty eclectic music listener. Like, yeah, I play actually my main instrument is the banjo. So yay. Thanks for that stereotypical impression of the banjo, Frank.
You're welcome. I didn't say anything about you loving your cousins. I didn't say that. Okay.
I'm not from West Virginia, so
Hey-o!
But
Or
my
Bama.
top 10 or Bama.
Sorry, Caleb. We'll get to that later.
Okay. That's awesome. Anyway, so my top 10 is not in any particular order. I just like jotted it down. I don't think I could put these in order of like my number one favorite song. I don't think I could ever at any particular time say that I have a number one favorite song. It'd be basically impossible.
I went stereotypical, so just so I didn't upset anybody, but it was,
I went atypical because I listen to a lot of different kind of music, and there's only two kinds of music to me. There's good music and there's bad music.
still
But
music.
it's still opinion though, because what I think
It's
is
true.
bad music, somebody else might think is great music. and they love
Everything's
it.
based on perception. We'll get into that, I'm sure,
Yeah.
a million times.
Yeah, about 3
It's
billion.
one of my lessons I try to teach, perception. We'll get into
Awesome. Everything's an illusion.
Sure.
So number one here, I just look. This is the first song I thought of. One of my favorite series of movies is Lord of the Rings, and I've read the books
that. And
3 or 4
my
times.
ex.
So I've read the books like 3 or 4 times. Thanks, Gimli. I've read the books 3 or 4 times. I've even read the Silmarillion a couple of times, which is, most people don't even know what that is.
I don't know how to read.
Props to you if you know what the Silmarillion is. That's pretty cool. I've read The Hobbit a few times as well. I've read some of the...
Is that an Italian sports car?
Yes, The Hobbit or the
No,
Silmarillion? the Silmarillion?
Whatever that is.
Yes. The Salamanderillion?
Yes,
No,
that
I'm
one.
going to quit before I
You
get
should
too far.
probably stop because this is going to go down so many,
It is going to go crazy.
so many bad roads.
So number one, the first song, this is, again, not in any particular order for me because
Right.
I just can't. The Breaking of the Fellowship, featuring In Dreams, I think is just an incredibly beautiful piece of music. Like, I love classical music. I love scores. But The Breaking of the Fellowship to me just is incredible. It puts me in Middle Earth every time I listen to it.
It's very true.
awesome.
He let me listen to that when he was
Mhm.
trying to make his list. He played it,
Mhm.
and I knew right off the bat what it was.
Yeah.
because I'm a Lord of the Rings fan too, nerd.
Mm.
But I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
and that rendition is very beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
It's amazing.
That's one of those that's more classically based.
Right.
It's still like a movie, movie soundtrack, but it's a score. I just love it. Second one that I put on my list is since I do play banjo, the acoustic world is kind of somewhat of my paradigm, you could say,
Right.
for music. And one of the most incredible female singers in that is Alison Krauss. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of Alison Krauss. I know Frank's heard of Alison Krauss. She's an incredible singer. And one of the songs that I could listen to of hers that I can just listen to it over and over again, because that was one of the criteria he told me about. He's like, what's a song that you can just listen to over and over again?
That was more for me personally, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to give you a basis because he was really struggling,
Yeah.
trying to figure out, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to narrow this down to
Yeah.
10? I said, well, my choices, and I'll get into more depth when I'm talking about mine, but I just said, what is something that I want to keep on repeat or want to keep hitting replay over and over and over again?
Yeah.
What, the replayability, something that moves me enough to be like, oh, I got to listen to that again.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's what I went with because, I mean, come on, there's so many songs that I could choose and just I can make a top 10 list for every genre, every band. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, there's so many things. So I understand how hard it is, especially for somebody that has such an eclectic taste. I mean, I have an eclectic taste too, which my list does not show that, but I really do. But
anyways, so yeah, Get Me Through December by Alison Krauss. It was on her 100 Miles or More album. I'm not sure if it was her first or second or third or whatever, but it's a little bit more of a country album and not just strictly acoustic. But again, just a very beautiful song. And that's like the first two are more the beauty of the music, and I've been learning how to play piano. And the main reason I love piano so much...
Hold on. Don't let him fool you. He hasn't learned nothing. That man has mastered it.
I have not mastered nothing.
So I don't want to hear it.
You're going to have people like, do some piano videos or something. And I'll be like, twinkle, twinkle, little star.
That's more than I can do. That's a master to me.
That's true. Well, alrighty then. So basically, somebody could pop gum and you couldn't even chew it. You're like, that's a master. Anyway.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So, and then my third song is by a band called Alter Bridge, and they just recently in 2019 put out a new album called Walk the Sky. And one of my favorites off that album is Take the Crown. It's just incredible. So we go from, Breaking Up the Fellowship and Get Me Through December. Both of these are very, very soft and beautiful songs to like Take the Crown, which is really, it's not screamo metal.
It's metal.
It's not death, but it is metal. It's definitely metal. And then my fourth song is a bluegrass song. Just straight up.
Wow. Who would have thunk that one?
Who'd have thought it? Ding. Maybe I can put a light bulb over your head and post. There it is. So this is a song that is bluegrass. It's played with bluegrass instruments, but it doesn't sound bluegrass to me. It's like really, if like you could take a heavy metal song and play it with bluegrass instruments, this is what it would sound like. It's called Sensabaugh Tunnel. And it's recorded by a band called Kerry Hassler and Hard Rain. It's an incredible piece. It's a fast driving song, and I like that a lot. Since I'm only on number 4, I'm going to kind of move along a little bit because you have a top 10 to go through too.
I do, but I'm not going to go into depth as who the freaking recording are. Like, I'm just like, this song sounds good. Like, that's really, I mean.
But for me, like, it's very unlikely that people are going to know what these songs are. They're going
That's
to be
true.
like,
I mean, you got to go into depth.
Tunnel.
I have explanations too.
Yeah. I will shorten the explanations up.
It's fine.
So recently, my little sister and I watched the movie Cats. Wow. First of all,
that's the production level, pretty much, of the movie Cats. If you haven't seen it, that's my review.
Yeah. My favorite.
That's it.
My favorite line of dialogue in the movie was by James Corden, and he goes, "That's what you get."
Well, there you go. So without
awesome.
Actually watching it, I nailed the movie.
Exactly.
And you're welcome.
You did. Awesome. But I will say my favorite thing about that whole movie was the song that Jennifer Hudson sang, Cats.
So
or she didn't sing Cats. It's from the movie Cats. She sang Memory. Whoa. And she just destroyed it. It was awesome. Destroyed is a good thing in this scenario. Okay.
Yes.
I'm also like into EDM a little bit. And so Waiting for Love is a really cool one that I literally just blanked about who did it.
Good. Move on to the next one.
Avicii. It was on one of his last ones. Yes, rest in peace. Nothing But a Whippoorwill, which is by a band called Blue Highway. It's another bluegrass tune, but again, it's a very interestingly written song. I just love. I could listen to that one over and over again. Why are you saying that
like that? Why?
Whippoorwill.
Whippoorwill.
Whiskey. Anyway, you get it. And then since I'm also a Christian, I like to listen to worship music too. And one of the more recent ones that I could listen to over and over again is a song called The Blessing by Carrie Job and Elevation Worship. It's
really good. I love playing that one too.
It's a fantastic one. And then we have Symphony featuring Zara Larsson. And that's one that is by Clean Bandit, which is another EDM group. And then finally, my last one is done by the Planet Shakers, which is another Christian group. It's a live version of their song "Come Right Now," which just has a rockin' bass line in it, and it's a super cool song.
It's really good. I love playing that one too. Yeah. That one's so much fun.
For sure.
Yeah. So I guess it's my turn.
So there's my list.
Let's give a clap for Josh. Add it in post.
One clap.
All right.
Awesome.
That was a good list. Very in-depth. Mine is not going to be like that. So here we go. So my top 10, and yes, it was my idea to do the top 10, so I should have great explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So top 10, I went cliche, but also it is my top 1. Okay,
yeah.
In order of this, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the number 1 song of all time.
According to Frank.
according to everyone on the planet Earth, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Sell out.
No. If you really enjoy music and are a fan of music itself,
Yeah.
this is a go-to.
It is.
If you love guitar, this is a go-to. If you love drums, this is a go-to. If you love vocals, this is a go-to. This is a go-to song.
I'll add a fourth one. If you love intricate chord changes and keys and timings, it's
okay. If we're gonna get detailed,
yeah. I mean, dude, I looked up the chords one time on a tablature app. There was over 50 chords, 50 different chords.
I mean, those guys are insane. And Freddie Mercury, I can't even describe how amazing he was.
Yeah.
Insane. Okay.
Yeah.
Best song. Now, obviously, one of my favorite movies of all time, which will probably be on my list when I get to movies, Wayne's World, made this even more popular than it was to begin with. You know, the headbanging scene where they're all singing it together. You can't not picture that whenever you hear the song. And I do all those parts. My kids are young, 6 and almost 3. They're like, what the heck is happening when that song comes on? You know, I just get into it. I want to get into it right now, but I'm not going to because of copyright infringement.
You know what's funny though is like Frank's been on me to watch Wayne's World for a long time, and I still haven't watched it.
He doesn't understand any of the references I'm making.
Nope.
It's fine. Number 2, based on my childhood and growing up into music.
You had one of those.
I did, as does most. But this song was like, I just feel it. Sadie Hawkins Dance by Relient K, totally polar opposite of Bohemian Rhapsody. But if you know the song, you love the song.
Yeah.
And if you are a fan of Relient K, this is going to be in your top 5 no matter what.
Easily, yeah.
Okay? Number 3, A Boy Brushed Red by my all-time favorite band, Under Oath. Love them. Lucas's middle name is Aaron after the drummer, my favorite drummer of Under Oath, Aaron Gillespie. Hopefully you're watching.
Killer.
Probably not, though. As is.
You can dream, Frank. It's fine.
Yeah. But A Boy Brushed Red, number 1 song of Under Oath. Sugar We're Going Down by Fall Out Boy. Such a and that's the way I can describe it. Just
Yeah.
Just it's a dance song. You're just like, I love that song.
Yeah.
And I love playing that song too.
Fall Out Boy's pretty awesome too.
They are. I like a lot of their songs. I wanted to put more in here, but it's tough.
You got to pick and choose, yeah.
Right. So, To Whom It May Concern, another Under Oath song. Great song. I'm going to get a tattoo with some of the lyrics from that song because I believe in it.
Amen.
Writing on the Walls, another Under Oath song. I told you they're my favorite band. You get it.
Yeah.
We Are Broken. It is a slow song. It is a really meaningful song from Paramore. Paramore is my number 2 favorite band of all time. Used to have a thing for Hayley Williams. My wife still is super jealous of that, but it's cool. I used to have her pictures all in my locker. Anyways.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part 2. Also Paramore. I love the drum break in it. It's totally different from Paramore's original stuff. I really love it. I want to record my version of it at some point, but it is an amazing song. This Is Gospel by Panic at the Disco. Love Panic at the Disco. Some of their stuff is a little like, not into some of the verbiage, but I love this song. I love the piano version of this song.
Like a more acoustic version?
Yeah, it's more of an acoustic. He's in a grand piano. It's a really good video, really good song.
You can't beat the sound of a grand piano.
It's amazing. And then finally, Mouth Like a Magazine. I let Josh listen to that one a little bit ago. He couldn't stand it. It is Screamo, as is Under Oath.
I didn't say I couldn't stand it. I just was doing something else and wasn't paying attention to it.
It's a lot, but it's older from Showbread. Showbread is the band, but
not to be confused with Gingerbread.
Thank you. We're out. Now, I structure my hi-hat on my drum kit based off of the drummer from Showbread. It's very high. It's higher than the rest. Most people have their hi-hat pretty low. I keep my hi-hat pretty high,
like
based
eye level?
Off of this.
Because that's how high you have it right now, eye level.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. This is how I play with my hi-hat. I keep it very high.
Okay.
Because I like the look of it, And this guy had it, and it was just like, why has he got that so high? And it just drew my attention, as is most drums and things, but it just drew my attention. And I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I got to do that. If it catches my attention, it's got to catch other drummers' attention when I'm doing it.
Yeah, maybe so.
And, who knows? I mean,
You kept saying how high you like it, and all I can
Stop.
think of is
stop.
insert weed joke. Okay. So.
This is a clean podcast, sir.
That's true.
We are Christians.
That's right. That's why I didn't say it. Take every thought captive.
Whatever. Anyways.
That's right.
So we're going to continue to do these daily top 10s.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I was going to get into this request time. If you have a request of something that you'd like us to do with a daily top 10, if you'd like us to talk about a topic, because we'll do episodes, or he won't be here on every episode, but I will be. I will do structured episodes about topics. I have one set up already. We will do things like that if it's something that you guys want to hear. I want to get your comments. This is a good time to plug my social media. So this is the 2B.
Number 2, letter B.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Frank podcast. We have an Instagram and a Facebook. Both 2B Frank podcast.
I really like that because it's super symmetrical because 2 and B is the second letter of the alphabet.
Right, exactly. And it's it's kind of like a cliche, another cliche phrase, like, well, to be frank, and it means to be honest, and that's like, we're just here to talk, and we're having our own opinions, and we are entitled to our opinions. It's our right to have our own opinions, but at the same time, you are entitled to yours, and I'm willing to hear it. I'm not going to try and force my opinion on you. This is just my opinion. This is Josh's opinion. We're going to talk about different things.
Yeah.
We're just going to lay it out.
It's candid conversation, which is awesome. That's
Right.
what we need in this world more, is candid, open conversation.
Right. And again, I'm willing to hear what you have to say. I'm not going to force my opinion on you. I hope that you don't try to force yours on me.
But the point of this, I think, from what we've talked about a little bit, is that unless we have an open mind about stuff, if we're just automatically closed off to any viewpoint that differs from our own, then there's never any growth personally.
Oh, very
or
true.
As a group of people, you know, you cannot grow if you don't allow other thoughts and other people's opinions to affect you in some way, at least to listen to them.
If your opinion is always, no, I'm right, then you're closed off and you're not learning, you're not growing, and therefore you're dying. I mean, if you're not learning, you're not growing, then you're stagnant.
You go stale.
Right.
For sure.
So, again, this is what this is about. If you want to become a guest on this podcast, you can also hit me up. We'll schedule it. We'll work it out. I would love to have you on. Many different topics, many different people out there. I would love to have you on.
Yeah.
But, again, hit me up. My personal Facebook is Frank A. E.H. Is the last name on there. And my Instagram is the third Frank. I am the third. So hit me up on there as well. I'll take it all. And we'll put a link at the end of the podcast or whatever for both of those things. Josh, I'll plug him real quick, is Crank Duh Banjo on Instagram.
That's with the Crank with a K.
Yes, Crank with a K.
Yeah, because I'm a banjo player, but I'm also really cool. Let's go let that sit there for a second.
Insert crickets.
You know what we need now, Frank? I know this is the first episode, so forgive us for not having this stuff. We need like a soundboard.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
You can do that. You can just have it like
I'll
right
just
there.
talk to my producer and get that done. Now,
okay.
Anyways, send in your requests. We'll take them. We'll try and structure it as best we can. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
And then, again, daily top 10s, or if you'd like a segment you think would be cool to have on there, something you're interested in, hit us up and we'll try and work it in. So, yeah, there's that.
Awesome. Sounds good.
So let's talk about something that people have a lot of different opinions about.
Speaking of opinions, right?
Right. What the heck is going on in the world right now?
Dude.
And I'm not even talking about, these riots and things like that. I'm not talking about that right now. I'm talking about like COVID, the country is shutting down. Like, what in the world? I mean, did you ever see something like this ever happening?
Well, of course not. I mean, you never foresee this.
When there was chatter and things going on about like places shutting down, things happening, because like Italy and those places over there shut down, I was like, I don't know if that's going to happen here. That's never happened, obviously, but I really wasn't sure. And then they shut the schools down. And then my wife is a teacher's aide, and my mother is a teacher. And then I have sister-in-laws that are teachers. I have a lot of people involved in the school system.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, this thing's going south fast.
Yeah, very much
When that
so.
happened, I was like, oh, Lord. Just started praying. I mean, that's all you could do, really. And that's all you can do right now. But still, it's just insane. I mean, we can get into specific topics if you want. But, how you being a performer of the arts, I know you guys were totally affected. And I know that everything is negative. You guys have really had a positive outlook about everything, and you've been able to keep going. That's the most important thing. Keep going. Don't sit and get stagnant like we were talking about. But how has this affected you? I want you to talk about it for a few minutes, if you can, just about how, like, what happened and how has it affected you?
So obviously, whenever COVID first started, like, hitting big time, one of the first things to close down was the entertainment industry.
Right.
And being performers, like, I'll go ahead and plug our band real fast. We're the Trinity River Band. Yeah. Check us out.
TRB.
Yeah. We had busy months booked, March, April, May, and June this month was booked pretty heavy. Then all this stuff happened and venues just started canceling events. They just had to. So being the fact that all of our livelihood was wrapped up in that, it ended. Our stream of income just ended. It dried up entirely. Stop. Very much so. Very abrupt. And so we had to start thinking and praying about different ways that we could make an income, because we had no intention of stopping playing once, everything normalized again. And I still, hope that it will normalize.
Things are starting
there.
Things are happening.
So I started doing some stuff like giving more lessons, finding more freelance stuff that I could do.
Hit them up for lessons, by the way.
Yeah, banjo and dobro.
Yeah, crank the banjo.
And bass and guitar and piano. So anyway, but I was talking to somebody else. Yeah, glockenspiel too, kazoo. So I was talking to somebody recently about, I think part of the reason why the world is freaking out so bad is because people had this illusion, this perception that they were in control of their own life and the things that were going on in it. And it is an illusion. We don't have control on the outside forces. We have no control over the actions that happen to us in our lives, like COVID. We have no control over that other than, social distancing and not being stupid, when you're going outside and interacting with people. But, that's why, like, our family and myself in particular, I've not been worried about it, even though it's been different and in some ways devastating as far as an income. But, we knew we shouldn't worry because we know that we weren't in control of it anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's something that I believe in, and we're very like-minded. We feel the same way on a lot of different topics, but you can't worry, because if you focus on worrying, then you can't focus on anything else.
You're right.
And worrying is just such a devastating thing. Like, it's honestly terrible. But if you worry, you're done. So if you take the time to focus on the positives and look forward, and not focus on what could happen or what might happen. And I'm guilty of it too. I mean, it does happen sometimes, but as long as it's not your main focus, then you can get through.
Well, I'd like to say that, because, even though we're saying, like, you shouldn't worry, like, that's great, yeah, woohoo, obviously we do it. Everybody falls into that trap, and it is a trap because worry envelops your entire psyche. It becomes the only thing that you're focused on, like you were saying. But, thankfully, being that we both believe the same way, we're both Christians, we don't have to worry. In fact, we're told not to. And
you have faith.
Exactly, you have faith. And like that reminds me of another plug here. We have a song called Jump Off the Ship, and it's a song about faith. It's in the chorus it says, though the storm rages around you, he'll take care of you. And that's, not everybody believes in God. I understand that, but that's something that I can rely on, and I do rely on it because it helps me get through every day. And sometimes I do worry, but then I realize, like, God, I don't need to do that because you are going to take care of me. And he does faithfully every day. He takes care of me. And I know that's the same for you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
I have a story in and of itself.
Story time.
Story time.
That's right.
No, so April. Nope,
Is a name of a person.
that's true. It
and a
was
month.
March.
Okay.
I get it mixed up sometimes. I gotta focus because of Sarah's birthday, April 9th. So that's
gotcha.
when I know. Yeah, it was a week after. So March 29th of this year was 4 years since I had back surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So I herniated my disc over 4 years ago, and it ended up fracturing and breaking. I broke my back, and it's a very long story, and I could probably do a whole excerpt on it one day. I don't want to do that now, but it happened. It was very devastating. I was in so much pain. Couldn't drive for over 3 months. My lovely wife Sarah did a lot during this time, but she does a lot all the time. But she got up early, drove me to work, came and picked me up from work sometimes when I was in pain, or would just come and get me at the end of the day. I couldn't walk, couldn't drive, couldn't sit, couldn't stand. It was honest. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, and I don't have very many enemies, but...
Do you have any anemones, though?
I'm
sorry, I shouldn't have. By the way, real fast, about your pain, was it like paper cut level, or was it like a little bit worse than that?
Yeah, I couldn't drive because of a paper cut. No, it was...
I don't know, Frank.
It was so painful, like... I told you I could go into this in depth, but like my leg was numb but on fire and itchy at the same time. It would go through things where I would feel something, like you could touch it and I would feel like you shot me. And then other times I wouldn't feel anything. I would get a cut on it and have no idea. And my sciatic nerve it was being severed. So lots of pain all the way up. It was really excruciating, but I opted for surgery. They wanted to do different injections and bull crap. So it works for some people, but it wasn't going to work for me in the state that I was in. So I opted for surgery. I got a surgeon at JOI that was able to suggest doing it. And the moment I walked in, he had got my x-rays and my MRI, and he told me, he said, I don't understand how you're walking, because I was barely walking, but I had a cane. And it was, but he's like, you're one sneeze or one bad shift away from being paralyzed. When he said that, I was just like,
no more moving.
I knew that I was in pain and I was suffering.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was that bad.
You just got it confirmed, though.
Right. Yeah. And throughout God's planning and laying things out, I had my surgery 3 days later. Everything worked out, all the steps. It was very evident that it was God, not me, or anything else. But I said all that to tie it in with the worry thing, but God laid it out. I won't say I followed the steps, but God laid it out and things worked out. And I knew I needed to do it through God and through my faith, but also through the doctor's hands. Great doctors there and nurses. The moment I woke up, I knew that I was healed. But going into it, my whole family was worried. My friends were worried because surgery is a big deal.
It definitely is, yeah.
It's a real big deal. There's people that don't wake up from the anesthesia. And that was a real possibility. I had to be intubated, laid on my stomach, pumped full of drugs. There's a real possibility that I wasn't going to wake up, so that was a real big thing. But I could not worry because it was out of my control. The only thing I could have done is not opt for the surgery. And if you knew me back then or saw how I was, you knew I couldn't do that.
Yeah,
So,
I can't remember because we reconnected relatively recently, and it's been since your surgery, I think.
Yeah.
When was it that I saw you that first time? I think it was
after the surgery?
I think so, because you still had a cane.
Or
was it before?
I couldn't walk for 6 weeks.
Afterwards?
Afterwards, I had to be helped to do everything, and I mean everything. I love you, Sarah. But
Saint.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Insane.
Anyways,
it's enough.
So, Caleb and his wife Lindsay, they lived here at the time. We're gonna have another episode with Caleb here soon. They live in Alabama.
Yeah.
But, anyways,
nice state.
they came to the surgery, and they waited to help because I had to be picked up and moved, and I was much heavier at that point because I literally couldn't do anything.
Yeah, nothing at all.
I was close to 300 pounds, like 285, 290, somewhere in there.
You're like what, 275 right now?
No,
he's not even close to that, y'all.
255. Thank you.
There you go.
But I carry it different than I was back then. I was getting big because I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. I just ate. I wasn't sleeping. It was, anyways. Again, another episode. But they were there and they helped too, so I got to give them a shout out as well. They helped majorly. They stayed the night with us that night, and they helped to help Sarah just in case. They were there for another day, and then they were gone, and Sarah was able to get me up and move and things like that. Sponge baths. But not the good kind. But yeah, so shout out to them as well. But yeah,
great friends for sure.
I couldn't worry about those things because it was out of my control. I just had to have faith that God was going to take care of me. He had lined those steps. He's done that a lot of different times in my life, and I have so many different stories and so many different things, and my life is crazy. I'm insane. I can go into so many different things, and Josh knows a lot of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
But
I still love you though, man.
I love you too.
Yeah.
We will get into those things, trust me.
For sure.
But I just knew that it wasn't in my control. And I wasn't going to sit there and focus on, the bad parts of it. Like, could this happen? Now, there's a difference, and I want to preface this. There's a difference between analyzing something and focusing on the negative details.
Of course.
It doesn't really sound like there's a huge difference, but there really is.
Well, when you're like in it and you're analyzing, you're being more objective.
Right.
Generally.
Yes,
I mean, you can be subjective when you're analyzing something, but when you're focused on it, and that implies a more emotional impact in your life.
I try not to have too many emotions in decision making. Sometimes it happens. But
I thought you were fixing to say, I try not to have too many emotions, period.
Yes, because I'm Zuckerberg. No. But I'm sorry.
He's going to get you.
No, but seriously, I'm not going to focus on the negative things. I try to be objective in a lot of the things that I do, but specifically in this case, I couldn't worry about it. It wasn't in my control, and like I said, the moment I woke up, I knew that I was healed. Yes, I was on medication, and I had a breathing tube in my mouth, and I kind of panicked for a minute, but the pain was gone, and I instantly knew it. Yeah. I went home that day. It was an in and out procedure. I had to pee before they'd let me go. Really weird situation, but the only time I walked was they had me in the wheelchair. I had to stand up, and I took a shimmy step to pee, and then when they wheeled me to the car, I had to take a shimmy step down off the curb to get into the car. Yeah. And Caleb and Sarah helped me, get in. Get in there, yeah. And then where we were living at the time, there was like 3 stairs down in this apartment. And I had to take those steps, but they kind of held my weight as I shifted. That was really it, that I walked for 6 weeks. Towards the end, I started taking more steps, like somebody would help me up and I could move a little bit because I needed to move some, but no physical therapy, nothing but the surgery and God's grace. And I was healed. But again, I couldn't worry about it. It wasn't my place to. That's just my view.
If you had worried about it, it wouldn't have changed the outcome at all. That's the thing
that's true.
You could have worried about it and been like, oh my gosh, I'm going to die on the table. But it still wouldn't have changed the outcome at all. You'd have just had a lot more stress leading up to it.
But that's also our belief. That's not everybody's belief, but still at the same time, you're right. But my worrying could have affected my judgment on something.
That's true.
I could have been worried and been like, I can't move at all. I could have stayed in the hospital more, accrued more bills. There's so many things that could have added up.
I mean, yeah.
But
obviously, that's what worry leads to, is like all the could haves or coulds, or what ifs.
Yeah, and like I said, I try to analyze a lot of different things, and this. My mind's constantly going. I try to analyze every outcome, every perspective, every little thing, but I try to be objective with it. I don't try to put too many emotions into things or try to worry about things and focus on the negative. I try to see, okay, could this happen? Yes, could that be negative? But yes, but also at the same time, this could happen. It could be positive. So I try to do those different things, and it's
I feel you.
An amalgamation of...
Ooh, big word.
Yeah, you threw me off. I didn't even get to finish the sentence. It's an amalgamation of different aspects of life. See how I did that full circle? Up top. Woo!
Whoa,
yeah, okay. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my story. And then Josh got a little story in there too. So yeah.
Yes, I had a story as well.
You did about your family and everything going on.
Oh, I have a family. Yeah. Cool. It's good stuff.
Again, you're lucky you're my producer. Okay, so guess what?
What?
Fact of the day.
I wish I could do that. I really do. Like, maybe you can train me. I'm teaching you how to play bass. You can teach me how to do that.
That's true. It's a gift.
Well,
no, but okay. So fact of the day. We're gonna do this every day.
yeah.
Every episode. So again, with your requests, send them in. We'll get different things. But I have a fact of the day.
Today. This day.
Today. Okay. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. No. Maybe so. Yes. Go ahead.
May 29th. I'm throwing him off. He thought I was going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
May 29th is National
Lampoon.
Put a Pillow on Top of Your Freezer Day.
Are you serious?
100%. I just learned that. It's so
May 29th
weird.
is National Put Your Pillow on Top of Your Freezer Day.
Yep. Fact of the day.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
See, that's right before my, birthday. So that kind of creeps me out.
I just passed, but because I don't know if we've mentioned it yet, but June 12th is today.
Yes.
So it's a little behind.
I can't believe I missed this holiday.
May 29th. I know.
Wait, is it a holiday or just like do we celebrate that?
It's a national holiday, like the national day. Like there's pudding day. There's different days. We just had National Donut Day.
Should we get off of work for that holiday?
Yes.
Wow, I agree. Because otherwise, how
sign
could you
the petition?
Possibly have time to put your pillow on top of your freezer if you go into work? I mean,
right. There's just no time in the day to get that pillow on top of the freezer.
Is there a time limit for how long it has to stay on the freezer?
I don't know. I really don't know. You're shaking the table.
I'm sorry. I'll quit shaking the table.
No.
I'm just sitting here. I'm fretting because I can't believe I've missed this my entire life.
I know. I just learned about it today, so
I feel like a part of my life is just
right.
It's gone.
It is. It's gone.
I have chill bumps right now thinking about it.
Thank you for listening, whoever you are, wherever you're at. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Josh, for coming on. I want to shake your hand.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Yeah, because this means something to me. I've always been somebody that loves to talk, but I also like to listen. I like to hear people's opinions. I like to hear things. So thank you for coming on.
Open mind. Which
I
is
do.
Awesome.
I do. Not everybody does these days, but I try to, and I try to teach. I try to not only live but also teach.
Yeah,
it's something that.
Well, it's interesting because everybody has their own life experiences, and you can always learn something from everybody.
That's
Doesn't
true.
matter.
I mean, it's something that I've just kind of been bred with. I guess my mom's a teacher, and but also at the same time, I like doing it. So I just try to educate, not necessarily with just words, but also just the way I try to live.
Yeah,
try to teach people like this is the right way. I mean, I'm a manager by trade, different capacities, but
you could say that you like teaching and giving advice and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I love doing it. I majored in psychology in college. I didn't get my degree, but I still went into it because it was an interest of mine.
I thought you told me you majored in psychotics. Okay. Sorry, that's the last one, I think.
Hopefully. But again, thank you for tuning in to this insane podcast.
Yeah.
There will be many, many more. With your support, we're gonna have different things. We're talking about some T-shirt ideas, maybe some hats, different things. With our logo.
Yeah.
That's right behind me. It's super cool, right? Yeah. So, we're gonna put those things up on our social media.
Mm-hmm. Maybe eventually we'll have a website.
Yeah. There's lots of things in the works, but. We'll have those things up, maybe a couple different options for some merch and things. Yeah. Maybe we can do a vote or something, see what people are interested in. Would you buy this? Those types of things. So
a good plan.
Yeah, we're really interested in that. But before we leave you, I want to give you the daily advice. So I'm going to get in here real close, and I'm going to give you some advice.
Real close.
Are you ready for that?
How close?
So close.
Okay, that's creepy.
Daily advice. Okay.
Thanks, Optimus. Good to see you.
Roll out. So today's daily advice. There's so much going on in the world right now. It is absolutely insane. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
But if I could leave you with something, be better.
Yeet.
Okay.
All right.
Something simple, but seriously, be better. If you can better yourself, better your spouse, your family, your children, better the people you work with. If you can better your circle, we will make a better world.
Because the world's a circle. Not flat.
We're going to get comments for that one.
I'm telling you.
But seriously, if you can make yourself better, and however you view that, make yourself better and the people around you, we can change the world for the better.
That's true. Whether you believe in God or not, striving for the moral high ground in every situation. It's funny in our family, and I won't go too long on this, but in our family, we've been talking about one of our new mottos, and we stole this from Frozen 2, okay? So hopefully no copyright infringement. Do the next right thing. If you're always struggling, if you're struggling with what you should do next in your situation, in your life, whether it's your job or in your spousal relationship or with your kids or whatever, do the next right thing, and you'll generally be going on the right path.
That is really funny because...
You weren't laughing. Okay.
No, it's really funny because in managing people throughout the years, that is actually the number one thing I tell a new trainee or a new person. Yes. Every time. I'm not joking. This is 100% truth.
Crazy.
I always teach them, if you can learn what to do next, you will make it.
Yeah.
In that job, in that career, whatever. If you can learn, like I can teach you how to do this, how to do that. I can teach you to do those things. But if you can learn, okay, once I'm done with that, I need to do X. If you can learn those things and take that next step and progress, then the world is yours.
Yeah, and always striving to be better at that next thing. Which
exactly.
Is boom.
Right. So, like he said, we're Christians. We have Christian beliefs. We have different opinions than other Christians, other people in general. Whether you believe in God or not, you can't not tell me that you should be better at anything. The moment you stop learning, you get stagnant.
Yep. Stale.
And you get stale. We've already talked about this. So, bringing everything full circle, the world is full circle. I'm sounding like Josh now.
I'm telling you.
But spending too much time with him. But seriously, be better. Love one another. Thank you. This is the To Be Frank podcast. Peace.
Peace out.
We did it.